Earlier this morning, after my alarm went off, I put on my jacket, got my watch, and I went outside. I stood at the front of my house, and I was like shivering there because it was so cold. And I was looking around. It was still sunrise, so I could see it was blue, yellow, and all the trees were doing that satisfying sound when the wind hits them and they're like the leaves are colliding. And then I notice the sunrise, the horizon where the sun is, and I think to myself, I feel actually really calm. Like I'm not disturbed by the world or any kind of stress. I feel actually pretty good. And what happened is I actually smiled thinking of that. I was like, oh yeah, morning sunlight is really important. Getting to see the sunrise is important. The reason why I'm telling you the story is because morning sunlight is so important for everything in your health, especially your mental health. So, basically, what I do every morning is every single morning after my alarm goes off in my iPad right here, my alarm goes off, and immediately I put my jacket on because it's cold outside, and I just stand at the front of my house. Sometimes I run around to get my blood flowing, osteocalcin, all that. And I just stand outside for 15 minutes. You only need to stand outside for 15 minutes or less. You don't have to stand outside for 1 hour. When you view sunlight, it has to be at least within 30 minutes after you wake up. So if you wake up 6 a.m., you have to get to the sun before 6:30 or before 7 o'clock. And lots of people who live in these countries where there's not much sunlight, so for example the UK, they're gonna be complaining at this advice like, I can't get sunlight in the morning as soon as I wake up because there's no sun where I live. If you can see the stars at night, does that mean there's no sunlight? Yeah, aside from the moon. When it's sunrise, when it's the day, even though it's kind of dim outside, do you see the stars? Is it so dark, so black to the point that you can see the stars? Probably not. If you can see outside, that means there's sunlight. Which is common sense, but people don't really think of that. And there's a bunch of apps that show you how much lux the light is, and you'll realize that 5 minutes of standing outside, even though it's dim, will give you more light and brightness than staring into a light bulb for 1 hour. And that's only 5 minutes of dim sunlight. You'll be so surprised at how much sunlight there is. I think it exceeds 100,000 lux or 10,000 lux. So you get morning sunlight, meaning as soon as you wake up, you just go outside, you view the sunlight, you get it into your eyes. And if you can't do that, you should be going outside and getting the sunlight throughout the day. So afternoon, evening, just even after the morning. If you have to wake up for work or for school and it's just inevitable that you can't get to the sunrise quick enough or get to sunlight quick enough to actually have its effect on you, then that actually sucks. That you gotta take the L for that. So basically, if you can't get morning sunlight, get it throughout the day. And getting it throughout the day If you get it throughout the day, this is the benefit. If you get it morning sunlight, it has more benefit. But it doesn't mean that getting sunlight throughout the day is not beneficial. It's so beneficial. So then, why is morning sunlight so important? What does it actually do to you? Basically, what happens is when you wake up, there's this thing called the cortisol acrophase, which is 1 to 2 hours after you wake up. When you're sleeping, your cortisol is way down low. But as you wake up, it goes very steep increase. And when you get sunlight, it actually enhances your cortisol acrophase as soon as you wake up. So that means you'll have a 50% increase in cortisol within the morning. You might be thinking, cortisol is a stress hormone, so that's bad. I should stay away from this advice. No. Cortisol is not really a stress hormone. It's the hormone that, when it's released into the body, it just deploys energy and allows energy to be used. So when there's cortisol, it just means that more glucose will be used. It just tells your body, just utilize more of the resources and get more energy. So yeah, and the reason why increasing your cortisol by 50% for your cortisol acrophase is so important is because so much research shows that when you increase your cortisol acrophase, your cortisol will be way lower at night. The sign of a healthy human is their cortisol is so high in the morning, but it's very low in the evening. And how do you get your cortisol low in the evening? You have to increase it in the morning, because your body works in this negative feedback loop kind of thing. Yeah, so getting better sunlight, getting morning sunlight actually increases your mood, focus, and alertness by increasing the amount of cortisol you get throughout the day, and it decreases the amount of cortisol you get throughout the night, which allows you to sleep. It also allows you to actually release melatonin during the night, because sometimes if you don't get enough sunlight, your melatonin doesn't secrete as much. So getting sunlight allows you to get more melatonin in the night, which is so important for sleep. And getting morning sunlight actually increases testosterone a lot. And it increases dopamine. Dopamine and testosterone are just so important for your mental health and your well-being, and also for your general health, especially if you're a man. And yeah, there's a fly there, that's why I had to do the clap. What I want you to think about this is, imagine if there's a pill that you could take, and you take it, it increased your energy, helped you to overcome burnout, and improved your sleep, dopamine, and testosterone. How much do you think this pill would cost? Thousands of dollars, if not probably hundreds of thousands or millions. And yet sunlight is free for everyone. If you want to overcome burnout, if you want to increase your energy, your focus, improve your sleep, reduce your anxiety, and really improve your health, sunlight is such a foundational thing that you cannot avoid. You need sunlight. And you don't get it enough, as much as you think you do. So the protocols are, you get sunlight within the first 30 minutes after you wake up. After your alarm goes off, as soon as it goes off, you go outside and get sunlight. If there's sunrise, that's good. If you can't get sunlight, then you just get it throughout the day. It won't be as beneficial as the morning sunlight, but it has so many benefits like testosterone, vitamin D, nitric oxide, so many health benefits anyways. Even if you don't get it in the morning, it's gonna increase the benefits throughout the day. It still has so many benefits. So yeah, when I introduced this protocol into my life, and it's very recently, I feel so much better. Honestly, I feel so much more less stressed. I feel like more productive, and I feel happier about myself. If you want to improve your mental health and your physical health, sunlight, especially morning sunlight, it's so important that you cannot ignore it. Get morning sunlight. See, if you like this video, drop a like, and if you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, and if you really want to learn from me, you can go and join my paid community in the description.